Well, hey everybody. Hello mamas. Welcome to another video all about summer learning featuring Weird Al's songs. So we're focusing on life skills and lifestyle today. So if you missed the earlier videos from last week about Weird Al and summer learning, check those out. But do know I want to do today and tomorrow 2 more videos all about Weird Al because he's got just a couple of songs if you don't know. And there are so many lessons that your teens can learn from listening to these songs, and there's so many opportunities for these songs to be like jumping off points for things your teen can research, things you can talk about, things that your teen can do this summer to continue learning all summer long. So if you've got a song that comes to mind when I say lifestyles, you got a song that comes to mind with like life skills of Weird Al's, I want to know what it is below because I'm curious if it's going to be one of the 6 songs I talk about today. And on a quick side note, do know study skills, learning can be super fun, but your teens don't always know how to do that on their own. So that's why me, Jessyka Coulter, I love as a study skills tutor to help teens find learning fun. So we can do that in our talk with Jessie at the link in the description. But let's get to talking about Weird Al here. So like I said, there's 6 songs. I could focus a lot more, do a lot more songs. But I want to focus today on those songs that I feel like fit really well into this category and those things that can be discussed, those things that are learning opportunities. Okay, so if you watched the earlier videos, did those a little differently, more on the topics and then the songs that fit in them. So we're going to try this, see what we think. And, if you've got thoughts, comments on what would be better, you can always share those as well. And I realize my background's a little messy over here, but oh well. We're getting it figured out in the new office. All right. So the song that fits the best in here, I feel like, is First World Problems. Okay. So topic number 1 you and your team could talk about is just literally what does it mean to be first world? So there's some kind of economy discussions you could have in there, depending on, if you got a high schooler versus a college kiddo versus a middle schooler, different types of conversations. Okay. We can also practice gratitude because of the song. Okay, if your teen listens to the song and hears, about the pixel out and the laptop, hears about the maid, hears about, sleeping in, all of these things. Well, does your teen have things he or she is grateful for that maybe someone in a different country, maybe, or even just one of your teen's friends doesn't have? So that is the perfect opportunity to talk about gratitude and why it's so important to practice that this summer, let alone in the school year, let alone forever. Okay. Now, also know for all my mamas that are watching, you might be the maid at home. There's probably a very good chance that you are the maid. Take this as an opportunity to know you do not have to be the maid and the gardener and all the other roles. Okay. Your teen, if we've got like a middle schooler or older, probably even if you've got younger kiddos, but definitely for all my mamas watching with tweens and up, do know summertime is the perfect time to have your teen start doing some chores around the house. Okay, perfectly acceptable, and I highly encourage those chores to be part of everyday learning, part of summer. And if your teen doesn't know how to do the thing, maybe you've never had your teen vacuum. I mean, that seems like it's something simple, but my granddad had very strict rules about how fast you went and what patterns to follow and how many times to go over. So mamas, if you have any thoughts, advice on that, this is a good song to kind of have that be, hey, we don't have a maid and I feel like the maid, and, so just use this song as a jumping off point for that topic. Okay. A song I feel like that kind of directly relates to this song is Couch Potato. So a previous song I talked about our previous topic we did was about food, and we talked about diet a little bit, so I could have easily included this one there. But do know that some of our teens, and even me, I know I like to watch TV too much, but our teens, they spend a lot of time on the screens over the summer, depending on what your rules are. Take this song as an opportunity for your child to learn about, is it really good for me health-wise to be on the TV, on the screen this often? So we can easily do some research, have a discussion about, do we need to watch 2 hours of TV a day? Is this type of TV show good for you? Is this something I approve of, or is it not? Okay, so definitely all sorts of conversation starters can happen because of the song, and there is all sorts of, or I should say, are all sorts of pop culture references. So it could have gone in that video too, but definitely I would focus this more on the idea of what exactly is a couch potato, and do I want you, my child, to be a couch potato this summer? Okay, so more videos to talk about here. Before we jump into that, though, just want to say thank you for watching on Facebook, on YouTube. Be sure to follow, be sure to subscribe, because I am going to be sharing all sorts of videos about learning, about teens, about school, and most importantly, about study skills, because I want your teens to love learning by knowing how to learn. And this video, all about summer learning with Weird Al songs, is the awesome, perfect opportunity to start. Okay, so another video to mention here is Tacky. I like this one a lot because there's all sorts of things mentioned here that are perfect lifestyle decisions. Okay, things like clothes, things like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all the social media references he makes. Let alone he mentions dating, okay, and the coupon book and making the date pay. Okay, those again can be conversation starters. And I personally, I don't love this song, but if I remember correctly, I think that the song was done like in one take. Like it was literally not pieced together. It was just like everyone had to be in the right place, be ready to go. And I think that's pretty cool. So that's another little tidbit about summer learning that your teens could do. Maybe it's not the content your teen cares about with this particular song. Maybe it's like, how did we actually film that? How did he reach out to these different celebrities? Why did they agree? How did they look tacky in the video? I mean, there's so many options with this song. Okay. Now, if we want to go kind of totally different lifestyle from First World Problem, do know he's got different songs for different cultures. Okay, we talked about language earlier in the food video, so you can definitely, talk about Italian and Spanish and things like that. With this particular video, I want to mention Amish Paradise. We could also talk about, I can't remember the rabbi song, I think it's Pretty Fly for a Rabbi, if I remember right. But with the Amish song, Amish Paradise, does your teen even know what Amish means? Okay, because you think about first world problems, the Amish, they might live here, first world with us, but do they live like that? Does your teen know what it's like to, not have electricity, not have access to phones, to, do some of these roles, these duties that they do and live the way they do? Again, perfect opportunity for, like, say, a field trip if you live somewhere where there are an Amish community. It's also a perfect opportunity just to do, again, research, read a book, watch a video. I mean, there's so many things your teen can tie this song into to learn about different religions, to learn different ways of living. Okay. And then this song that kind of goes with that, idea of, okay, how do other people live, is Canadian Idiot. I really love American Idiot, so that's probably the reason I brought this one out. But this, just the fact he talks about geography. So there's a summer learning opportunity right there. Talks about him hovering above us. Okay, so if your teen didn't understand that reference, perfect geography option. Because I can tell you, so many students I work with, high school and even older, they don't know the geography whatsoever. Like even something as what I feel is kind of simple, and I hope mamas that you feel is kind of important, knowing where Canada is versus the United States versus Mexico. Okay, like even very, very basic like that, or even knowing the 7 continents. Okay. And other thing to mention with this song, The Canadian Idiot, is just the idea of the culture. Okay, he talks about money, he talks about hockey, he talks about, pastimes, he talks about the way they talk, and some of what they believe when it comes to, heat, as he calls it, let alone, what they eat. Okay. And one more song to mention, and again, if you've shared the songs that immediately came to your mind at the beginning of, Weird Al songs that have to do with lifestyle, that have to do with life skills, I'm curious if this is one that you thought of. And if I didn't mention your song, definitely, I will make sure I follow back up on that, whether it's in another live video or in the comments. Okay. But this one, I'm saving for last for a reason. It's, I don't know, I like this song. I mean, I don't like it for good reasons, but I remember Larry. So this song is, it's funny, but at the same time, when you think about why Larry's doing the things he did to our main character, if we want to assume it's Al, it's not good. I mean, he's a bully, backwards, forwards, upside down. And the way we retaliate, our character does, against Larry is not kind, okay? I mean, it doesn't say we killed Larry, but we can pretty safely assume Larry is not living and breathing to continue the torture. So, again, perfect opportunity here for a discussion and, to be open and, listen to your teens. Hopefully they aren't a bully. Hopefully they haven't been bullied. But unfortunately, it happens at school. And if your child, is going into, say, middle school or high school, what are those rules at the school? What are those safeguards? What do you want your teen to do? This idea here is we want our teens to not be tortured, by Larry. We don't want our teens to feel like the only option is to go to the extremes of what did happen to Larry. So summer learning right there, because, it doesn't only happen at school. It can happen at home. It can even happen, at some summer camp on the sports team. I mean, unfortunately, bullying is not commonplace. So very different topics there for you, but all related lifestyle, all related life skills. So definitely do know I am here to help your teens love to learn. And definitely, if you've got some thoughts of, okay, how exactly do I use some of these songs, Jessica? I'm curious to use music to get my teen interested. We can definitely talk about that in our free Talk with Jessie when you schedule your discussion or chat at the link below. Choose a day, choose a time that works best for you. Would love to meet you, love to meet your teens, so we can get your teens loving to learn before school starts. Because there are 12 study skills in my Love to Learn Study Skills program, and every single one of them is a skill your child needs to be successful in middle school and beyond. Okay, because they're really life skills. So that's part of the reason for this video too, is just to help your teens realize, oh, even though it's a Weird Al song and I wouldn't expect to learn anything, there are lots of lessons to be learned from these, let alone all of the other songs I have mentioned. So see you tomorrow for the last video. We're going to focus on polkas because whether you know it or not, Weird Al's dad was a big polka guy. And, polka is pretty awesome. And there's just a couple of Weird Al songs that have polka themes or are polkas. So let's talk about that tomorrow. See you very soon in a Talk with Jessie, and have a good night, mamas.